I was lucky to win a trip for two to New York for 5 days. I entered a Facebook competition in Auckland run by Lightbox, and they organised the flights and accommodation.
Only in New York.
My wife Maya and I arrived late in the day at Newark. We made it to our Manhattan hotel near Times Square, and after a quick meal we had a look around the nearby streets.
Glimmering lights shining so bright, turning night to day. Only in
I love the steam. It makes the city seem like it's breathing. In the morning we made our way to Times Square.
see the dames in their curls.
Wow, the billboards and people.
What a view.
We couldn't resist a photo for the grandkids with some superheroes.
From the street with walls to Harlem where music plays and the romance sparked in
Then it was on the subway to the High Line walkway.
Lady Liberty's face. Only in New York can you rise to the top like the Empire State. You gotta be great when you get your shot. Where can you find that magic? Only in New York.
The weather was great and it was Memorial Weekend, so there were lots of people about. The High Line is a public park built on a 1.5 mile historic freight rail line, elevated above the streets on Manhattan's west side. The last train ran on the High Line in 1918. To advocate for the High Line's preservation and reuse as public open space, Friends of the High Line was founded in 1999. We thought it was awesome and a great way to spend the morning. The transformation from old to new was remarkable.
And the romance sparked in Central Park would put a smile on Lady Liberty's face.
We descended into the streets and made our way slowly through Greenwich Village towards Washington Square.
Can you rise to the top like the Empire State? You gotta be great when you get your shot. Where can you find that magic? Only in New York. Only in New York.
That's not easy. Make them love us. Give them something to talk about. All the way down.
The square was a hive of activity with lots of street theatre. I was thrust into the centre of some humorous theatre while Maya tried to get some shots. Everyone was certainly enjoying themselves.
For you guys to give us.
We made our way uptown towards Madison Square and the Flatiron Building before getting a little leg weary and getting the underground back home. Monday saw some rain arrive and it was time for our New York movie tour. part of the prize I had won.
Part of NYU or New York University. Very good. If you go to Los Angeles, you can take the Warner Brothers tour. They have like the...
We saw lots of famous film locations, finishing up with the Ghostbusters fire station. After the tour, we walked up Fifth Avenue to the bottom of Central Park. I had to visit the Apple store on Fifth Avenue, of course, and felt conspicuous taking movies with a Samsung phone. That evening we met up with Maya's cousin's son Case, who lives in New York. On the subway we were lucky to catch some buskers doing their thing. It was great to catch up with Case and of course get advice from a local. The next day we headed up to Central Park and spent some time in the southeast corner. We headed further up Fifth Avenue to visit the Guggenheim Art Museum. It was certainly a great space, and we used its sloping walkway by getting a lift to the top and slowly working our way down. It was then back on the subway to Grand Central Station. We remembered it from our visit in 1990, but it had been fully refurbished since then and was looking in great shape. Time for a drink and great sandwiches in one of the food sections. On our way back, we found the public library. Wow, what a fantastic building. I love the rich parquet floor and beautiful rooms. My favourite space had to be the main reading hall though. That evening we had booked our Broadway show Wicked. Very expensive tickets, but something we just had to do. Breakfast in our local deli was a treat. There was so much choice and at a reasonable price. We headed downtown to the 9/11 Memorial. It was a moving experience, having seen the events from the safety of our living room and thinking of the terrible loss of life. We decided to go up the One World Tower. The only disadvantage was you had to look through glass, which wasn't so good for filming. Then it was on through to the Oculus, a Westfield mall development, designed by a famous Spanish architect. Quite spectacular and nice to see different building forms. To get to the Brooklyn Bridge, we cut through Wall Street and past the Stock Exchange and the statue of George Washington in front of Federal Hall. Having made our way up from the Brooklyn Bridge, we were a bit tired to walk over the bridge, so got the subway to Clark Street and walked down to Brooklyn Heights Promenade, where we got a great view of Manhattan. After a short rest back at the hotel, we were off on a sunset viewing from the Rockefeller observation deck. We were lucky as an approaching front gave us a spectacular display of thunder and lightning. Another great day, and this time we're off to Momar. There were great spaces, and it was nice to have some reflection time, particularly in the great outside courtyard. Later that day we caught the subway up to Columbia Station to visit the apartment block where our Auckland friend Jeanette used to live. We followed her directions, and sure enough we said hello to Byron, Jeanette's doorman, who remembered her well. Maya was very keen to go to a jazz club, so we were lucky to book at short notice Sean Jones at the Jazz Standard. Great music, and we got Sean to sign his CD for us. Our last day was spent doing some shopping. Me in the big and tall shop, although I had to get the smallest on the rack. Then we went our separate ways. I visited B&H Photo Store, but was a bit overwhelmed by huge customer numbers due to an early closing on Friday. I also had to pop back up to the top of the Empire State Building, which we did in 1990, as it was such an engineering icon. The whole building was designed using moment distribution, a method used before the advent of computers. It had obviously stood the test of time. It was a great place to also get the long lens into action. On our last night, we headed up to Bar 65 in the Rockefeller Centre for some Manhattan cocktails and a farewell view. New York is awesome.